Hello, and welcome back or to Saved by the Bellwork. I'm Mrs. Fowler.
I'm Caroline.
I'm Allie.
And I'm Kendal.
Today, we are going to be discussing conspiracy theories. One of the biggest conspiracy theories that's going around right now, and recently that's been coming out of the blue, I guess. I don't know if this has been going on for a while or whatever it is, but is that the Titanic actually didn't sink. And why they think that is because they think it was a ship.
Different ship?
Yeah, a different ship.
Yes, I've heard of this.
That he painted over with the Titanic words or whatever it was. And the reason he did this is because, according to this theory, millionaire banker J.P. Morgan planned the Titanic disaster to kill off his rival millionaires.
Oh.
Okay,
I haven't heard that.
I kind of heard another thing too, that they were trying to get insurance money off of it.
Yes.
I heard that, I watched a video on it, and I heard that they had a Titanic and it was another one, and then they learned that it was going to sink, and so they just made a new one and just did it anyways and pretended everything was fine just so that they could be well, we did it. It was something like that. It was something weird. Mm-hmm. But I heard this one, yeah. It's not new.
Yeah, well, I just recently saw it because it was on TikTok for some reason, and I just went deep into it. And now, for some reason, I'm this could be true.
I think it's definitely some part is true.
Yeah, that's how I kind of am with the Princess Diana, death, murder thing, you know? Because, there's been so many conspiracy theories about that. She was the Princess of Wales, you know, and she was maybe killed off by the M16, was a British,
Secret security, like that?
Yeah. One of them was she was pregnant with another guy, not the king, and they found out and they killed her off.
I thought the royal family really liked Diana though.
Yeah. Okay, so another thing was before this even happened, she had wrote a letter, and this is what it says. It says, "I'm sitting here at my desk today in October, longing for someone to hug me and encourage me to keep strong and hold my head high. This particular phase in my life is the most dangerous." And then it has they don't release a name or anything, but it says, "Is planning an accident in my car, brake failure, and serious head injury in order to make the path clear for Charles to marry." So
that's insane.
Yeah.
Whoa, okay.
So she knew she was gonna die. And
That's so sad.
I
That
saw
is
something
sad.
that it was she knew she was gonna die, and how when
Just
she got in
knowing
the
that?
car.
yeah, and it's just awful. Also another weird thing was the ambulance stopped multiple times on the way to the hospital. Didn't go to the closest
I didn't
hospital.
know that.
Went to the farthest hospital. She was responsive on the scene. She was talking and
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh no, it didn't work. Gotta find some other way to kill her.
yeah.
That's awful. And they didn't even try to be oh no, we didn't kill her. They're yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And you can't do anything about it.
Yeah,
That's
but
crazy.
somehow they covered it up so well. If it even happened, you
Yeah.
know, they covered it up very well to where every accusation was false.
That is so interesting.
Yeah, and they made a Netflix series about it too, which even proves that a lot of people are thinking it's a fake.
Yeah.
Separate from the crown? Or the crown?
No, it's the mysteries of how Princess Diana was killed. Was it an accident? Was it on purpose?
Interesting.
And it's on Netflix. I haven't watched it, but I've heard people have watched it before, and it's changed people's minds about what they thought about it.
Yeah.
Honestly, just hearing that. She didn't die of natural cause.
Yeah.
No.
Natural causes.
Yeah.
Or
No
an
way.
accident.
Someone killed her.
Yeah. It was
That's definitely planned.
crazy.
And so another big one that's really popular is the conspiracy that the moon landing was fake. I'm assuming you've all heard this before.
Oh yeah.
So there's a lot of conspiracies about this that people are trying to say this proves their point. So the first conspiracy theory is that the shadows in the moon landing photos proved that the images were faked. So basically, what it says is that the shadows aren't parallel, the light isn't reflecting in a parallel way that it should be. So like it's saying that there were multiple like light sources that were making different shadows, so it wasn't just the sun. So that proves that it was like faked and that they're recording in a different place. But because of the perspective on the moon, just like in general based on science, it'll be like warped shadows and like completely different. So that's also a completely false claim. And then the second conspiracy theory is that the astronauts couldn't survive Earth's radiation field, like the Van Allen radiation, but they like went out of it unharmed. There have been multiple astronauts to go in and out of there unharmed. It's like it's based on absolutely nothing. It's a really weird conspiracy theory in my opinion, that they would have just died leaving the atmosphere.
Right.
Yeah. And like
I
don't understand how you would even like there's video like you could watch
Yeah.
it happen.
Well, I feel
don't know.
like too they're like reaching for something to like
Yeah.
prove
Yeah.
wrong. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I heard something that it was a plan to like scare the Russians because the Russians were like,
when
they went. And so it was basically like a way for us to like to overshine Russia and like that we have all this crazy technology. And so I thought that seemed more realistic than some of the other ones. But like at the same time, it's a really crazy like conspiracy theory.
someone's landed on the moon at
Oh,
some point.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so for our next conspiracy theory, this is one that I wholeheartedly just, my mind is blown at how it's even possible, is if Helen Keller is real. Now, I got a whole bunch of her like accomplishments through her lifetime, and I just want you guys to hear them and remember that she is literally deaf and blind. Like, that is well known. So my first one is Helen Keller was assisted to fly a plane. She wrote over 12 books, so she's an author. She had incredible handwriting. She was able to pronounce words, and she graduated from college, was able to be taught things, and she like knew and can like apply information that she was taught. She could ride a bike, and she could also interpret many different languages. To me, that's just insane. Like, I, as a fully able person, can't even do hardly any of those things.
I can't ride a bike.
You can't ride a bike.
I learned
wow.
when I was really little, and then I forgot, and then I learned again, and I've tried multiple
Right.
times. I can't ride a bike anymore. I don't think I'll ever be able
It's
to.
just like,
But,
I don't know. I think honestly, if I'm gonna say it, I think Helen Keller herself was real, but I think a lot of these things
Yes.
were made up
To
And-
make her seem
Yeah.
like this super woman.
Because like how do you put your hands
Maybe.
underwater when you've been like deaf and blind and you just say like water?
Right.
Like how do you know that's
Well, I mean,
water?
She wasn't born deaf and blind.
Right. She became deaf and blind when she was a toddler, but
Yeah.
the same thing, like a toddler, like I
I don't remember anything from my childhood.
Right, like as a
That's
toddler,
true.
I don't remember anything.
But
like
didn't she like have people write on her hand? different
she
things
did.
And, like,
She
created
had a
her own
teacher
symbols?
for a very long time, for like most of her life, and even like assisted her in writing her book. And like most of how she communicated was like the rubbing on her hands. She had a braille typewriter, and also she would like feel the interpreter's mouth and like how her lips and tongue moved and like made out words. But like I can't even like close my ears and someone talk to me. I can't read lips, like even
Yeah.
seeing the lips. Like I'm like, what in the world are they even saying?
Yeah, but people that are like, Helen Keller's not real. She was real.
Right.
She could like communicate effectively, and she was a very impressive person.
Yeah. I do believe she was a real person. It's just some of her accomplishments are just a
Absolutely
little
insane.
like they're a little questionable. Like my cousin is actually training to become a commercial pilot, and he's been in, school for, I don't even know, 5 years now, trying to learn how to become a pilot. And the fact that she could drive a plane, or fly a plane, not even drive a plane, fly a literal plane with a little bit of assistance is, I just can't put that into like my head, and for it to stick, it just, some other things just, I don't know, I can't quite believe.
It is very cool though.
It is. I mean, I really hope I hope that she's real, but at the same time, it's like kind of hard to believe.
Yeah.
All right, so to end it off, our last conspiracy theory is based on like Americans' nutrition and how some of our nutrition facts and what we are supposed to be consuming every single day is actually not healthy for us. So I watched this movie. It's called What the Health, and it's basically about this guy who goes around to different associations. He goes to the Heart Association. He goes to like a cancer kind of research place, and he basically asks them questions about the intake of food. And what he gets from it is about how common things they eat every day, like eggs, meat, sugar, and what was another really big one? I think that may have been the top 3. There may have been a couple others that were just like side notes, but those were like the top 3 of how like when we consume those food products, how they're actually not good for us, and how like they're equivalent to like smoking cigarettes every single day. Some can like are causing cancer, like cancer buildup, making cancer stronger. And honestly, the movie is very believable. I remember watching it and being like, I'm never eating an egg again, like kind of thing. But it's honestly extremely believable. But now that I kind of sit here and I'm like, it's definitely just a setup for people to spread veganism. Like throughout the show, they basically just keep saying how you shouldn't eat meat, how you shouldn't. And like, I'm just like, this is totally just people setting it up for veganism. But it's also just cool to hear like
What's
it's kind of believable. And like the fact that some of these associations wouldn't talk to them about it was kind of fishy. Like the fact that the Heart Association wouldn't talk to them about like what is the main cause of like heart disease, and how it's like consuming too much sugar, and how like they're not like they're admitting it, but like how sugar is like processed to be bad for you.
Like, did they have facts to back up those statistics or anything?
I'm sure in the movie they did that. Like, I can't read it off the top of my head unless I, like, just go rewatch the movie. But, like, I'm sure they had some facts. But I don't, I just need to watch the movie again.
I think the big thing with that is people confusing, like, what something sounds like with what's actually healthy for you.
Right.
Like, the idea of calories and the idea of cholesterol. Like, people to understand that there's, like,
protein,
good things that you need cholesterol, and there's good cholesterol and there's bad cholesterol, and there's like good fats and there's bad fats and there's really bad fats, and people just get like really confused about that, and they just
also like thing. If you think about it, like in other countries there's so many like ingredients that we have and like we use in our foods that are illegal over there. Like I know Skittles, like red
Skittles.
I'm pretty sure like the red Skittles,
the dyes,
like the dye, like they're illegal in, like, I want to say it's, like, Brazil. I could be so wrong, but somewhere. But that's just so crazy. Like,
it's kind of scary, but Skittles are
what
also
we're
great. So.
But, like, also, if you look at, like, you kind of, like, have an image of people from, like, China and how they're, like, so skinny and, like, you know? And then you look over here and everyone's, like, it's just kind of like, you can see the difference.
Perspective shift.
Well, and they do, like, in Italy, too, they eat a lot of, like, carbs. But it's all good carbs.
It's like party eating, but it's
about
mindful.
that. I read something where this girl went to Italy for 2 weeks, and she lost 10 pounds. But she said all she ate was pizza and ice cream. Because they're like the ingredients that they use are fresh, and there's no preservatives and like that nasty stuff that us Americans intake every single day. And she said, I lost like 10 pounds of just straight up unhealthiness off my body.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was crazy.
Yeah, and I've heard of like so many people like getting sick because they've like ate just different food from different countries and it's not what they're used to. So like they just get
Their
sick.
bodies are different.
Yeah.
Like when you have a lot of sugar, you get really sick. Another big thing that's, like, no one really believes it, but it's, like, kind of funny, is that PETA is, like, run by the meat industry. So, like, one thing that people talk about is how PETA buys shares in, like, meat companies, which I'm not positive if that's true, because that's, like, absolutely insane. But if it is...
That's kind of crazy.
That is absolutely insane. That's crazy.
That...
A lot of corruption there.
That makes me kind of like scared to want to go home and just eat something.
Yeah.
I'm hungry right
That's
now.
so
I don't really
true.
want to eat anything anymore. I'll eat a literal apple or something.
I'll have some strawberries.
Yeah, I'm not eating anything. I can't.
Mm-mm.
So thank you guys so much for listening to our podcast today. We had a lot of fun learning about these conspiracy theories and genuinely getting to talk about them. Please join us next week for our next topic. That is to be determined.
Undecided.
Undecided quite yet, but thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.